In the year 2000, I wrote an outline for a series of courses that I would call Cosmic Wizard. A series of courses that were designed to show us that we are connected to the language of the universe, that magic is real, and that creation is made from magic, and that we as conscious beings can choose to interact with creation and to create right alongside everything else. And so, as this spring emerged, I've been feeling the call to return to the teachings of the wizard, to call in the magic of wizardry, and to help people set clear boundaries, to help people develop awareness of where and how magic is being used on them in their lives, to remember and understand that we are all playing this magical game together. And so sometimes there are things that happen that are cast upon us by others. And sometimes we create magic that influences ourselves without even realizing the depth of the impact it's having upon us. We don't realize our own power. And so as I began to look at planning a series of workshops this spring, I looked at the calendar to check out when might be the good time to do that, when might be the right time to create this. And I found that as I was entering the planning phase, when I looked at my calendar, that we were just beginning the Cosmic Wizard wave spell in the Mayan calendar. And so I found myself going, oh my God, it's time. It is the Cosmic Wizard time. Right now, it's time to bring across these teachings. And so for the next month and a half, I'll be doing a series of workshops, some in person, some online, all of them broadcast online and recorded. And these workshops I'm calling Wizard's Wyrd. It can also be pronounced Wizard's Wyrd, because what word means, W-Y-R-D, is destiny. It is the source and the origin of the word weird, but we've lost the meaning of what weird really is. To create is part of the weird. It's part of the word. It's part of the expression of source coming through us. And so, as we step into the power of our destiny as wizards, as creators, we realize that our word, our weird, our individuality, and our purpose, and the power of our expression is the gift that changes everything around us. It is the wave that goes out and eventually returns to us, bringing us deeper into our own reflection and reminding us our power as creators. The first session of this series we're going to be doing is called Forging Your Event Horizon. It's about setting boundaries. It's about clearing cables. How many of us feel the weight of old relationships still clinging on to our energy fields? How many times do we find our minds still stuck in the same loops and same old programs? And how many times are we trying to call in something new, but we find we actually can't bring it to us, and we don't know why it's not coming? And we're frustrated, and we don't understand why that thing is not able to come into manifestation and come to us. Well, sometimes when we're protecting ourselves from things that are not so good in our lives, we find that we're actually ending up protecting ourselves from good things at the same time. And so forging our event horizon is about understanding the keys and the gifts of setting a circle that's precisely what we need. A circle that is just right, just permeable enough, like a cell membrane, to hold out what's not serving us, but also to allow in what is. And then in the second workshop, we're going into, I call it Wielding the Ray of Creation. And this one is about calling upon the forces of the universe and recognizing the stream of creation from the 0 to the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4 to the 5 to the 6 to the 7 to the 8 to the 9 to the 10 to the 11 to the... and the stream of how creation creates. We're going to look at each one of the geometries in the permutation of the ray of creation and how energy flows and moves through them in the process of reality being generated by us. And then we can apply and use those geometries as magical containers to do all kinds of amazing things, just like many of the ancient cultures did, in use of the Star of David, for instance, in Kabbalah, or Hermetic magic, or the use of the pentagram, as was used in many, many different kinds of earth traditions and religions in order to help us connect with and communicate with the spirits of the land and the energy of the earth. Or the heptagram, the 7-pointed star, and often known as the elven star, to bring in perfection and the light and the consciousness of truth. And so we'll apply our awareness to these different geometries and come to understand how to use them as tools, how to use the mathematics of creation itself to weave and create. After this, we'll do a workshop on elucidating elements. So we'll break down each one of those geometries and understand the elemental energies inherent inside of them. The pentagram, for example, as the fire, air, earth, water, and spirit. But this is also deeply woven and related to the elements in Chinese philosophy and Taoist traditions, where we have the emergence of wood and metal, which is a transcription of air, and how those fit into the six-fold spectrum when you include spirit, and understanding the vibrations of our organs and the vibrations in our body as actually different color elements, spectral elements that weave and flow our feelings as we're moving through time. And we'll even look at 7 elements of the 7-pointed star and understand the different containers of the Platonic solids and the geometries that can be used and actually communicated with in order to allow energy to flow in certain specific ways. We will look at exploring the elementals from a spiritual perspective and our relationship with different spirits. And then we're going to go on some astral adventures. We're going to take a journey into the astral realms, understand the power of our dreams, understand the power of creating astral containers, shapes and forms of being that can then crystallize and allow energy to come down from the astral through the etheric realm and into the physical. So in this space is where we learn how to architect the structures of our dreams so that then our dreams can come into manifestation. If you can't architect your dream, then you don't really know how it feels to make it real. And then you can't create it. So if you do want to create something, you have to develop that skill of architecture and filling those fields with feeling so that you can then feel them come into being all around you. After this, our final session, Sanctum Practicum. We will be looking at the nature of the practical expression of the sacred, the use of magic in everyday life for all kinds of things. How do you manifest the house that you want? How do you create the car that you need? How do you shift your job? How do you develop the space to go into an event and a party that's dark and intense and actually holds your field? How do you deal with it when someone's reaching out sexual cables and trying to grab at your yoni or your lingam as you're like just hanging out with somebody? How do you deal with all of the different dynamics of magic that are going on all around us every day, all the time, and practically apply our consciousness and specific wisdom to changing and making a difference in our lives and in the world? It is a practical magic symposium. Finally, we'll have a Q&A session, do a live session, and explore all of these different concepts and ideas. The Q&A will be open to anyone who is registered for any one of the different events. So we'll have a big party at the end, explore the questions. Everybody will get little insights from all of the different events. But I hope that you will join me for this whole journey. Because if you do, you will see that there is so much beauty, so much power in the magic that is all around us, that's inside of us, that moves through us, that breathes with us. There's magic in these flowers. There's magic in these trees. There's magic in the wind and in the earth and in the soil. And learning how to connect and communicate with the universe is what magic is all about. It's about a conversation that we're constantly having with the divine. And so I hope you'll join me for this journey so that we can share in this conversation. We can have a symposium of universal creation together and play in the worlds of magic and work with each other to create more things that are good for this world and help to dispel the dark magics that some have cast because of their traumas and their pains, their sorrows, and so many more layers of our human shadow that get played out all the time and created all around us. We are healers as well as wizards. We are warriors as well as star walkers. We are creators. We are weavers, and we are ambassadors to the world. So let's take responsibility for that. Let's step up and be guardians. Let's do our sacred work in this world and make a difference. Whether you can join me for the whole series or just one of the sessions, come and spend some time with me. And let's go deep. Let's go into the heart of magic. I look forward to seeing you there. Aloha keakua, blessed be, in Lakesh, Wopila.